Hey friends, it's Emily from burlapkitchen.com, and today we're going to make something really fun with an empty can. Now you can use any size can you want for this. I am using this breadcrumb can, and I'm going to cut it down because it's a little taller than what I want it to be. So I'm just trimming it down. I had to kind of poke a hole in it with my knife and then cut around. So then I have this piece of corrugated cardboard, and I'm going to wrap that around the can. So to get the corrugated cardboard, all you have to do is soak it into water, and then I peeled both the back and the front of it off. You'll see what I mean when you go to do that. So now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to glue this cardboard onto my can. And I'm just going to glue it around. And I should have glued up and down the can. I don't know why I only glued the bottom. The only thing I can think about is I know my family was all home and they were all asking me questions, and I was trying to craft and answer them at the same time. So you know how that goes. So glue it at the top and the bottom. Then I'm just going to match up the sides here and trim down and then glue along there. And then I'm just going to trim it a little bit more here. So another thing, again, you want to glue inside the can before you tuck it in. I should have glued inside there before doing that. So I tried to pull it out and then it started to rip a little bit, but I think it's going to stay just fine if you forget to glue it. It should stay in place pretty good. So just fold that down in, and then I'm just picking off all the excess glue, and I'm just going to trim that up just a little bit more. So now what we're going to do is we're going to take some paint. You want like a dark, almost like a charcoal gray color for the base, and this color that I have, I believe, is called pewter. There was two that I was mixing and they were both the same. They weren't quite as dark as I wanted them to be, so I added a little bit of black paint and mixed them in to get them darker. So then I'm going to give it a nice dry, and then I'm going to come in with this metallic silver color, and I'm just going to randomly add it using a sponge brush. Sorry if you hear that weird noise. My dog is standing, Buddy's standing right here at me, looking at me, yawning, making all those silly sounds. I don't know if they pick up or not. So now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to finish that up, and I'm going to go around the top here, and then I'm going to make sure it's nice and dry before I move on. You definitely want to make sure each layer is dry before you move on with the next. So then we're going to take some baking soda, and we're going to mix, you want, the best of brown that I found that works for this is called brown oxide. They didn't have it at the store, so I had like this nutmeg color that was a close second. You can see they're kind of two different colors there. I forget what the other one is, but the nutmeg worked the best. So mix that with the baking soda, and that's just going to give it like a chunkier texture to make it look like real rust, and then just randomly put it onto your jar. Don't overthink it. So next I'm going to take a little piece of foam, and I'm just going to cut it down. This is one of those blocks that you get at the Dollar Tree. I think they come 3 in a pack. So I just cut it, and then I just stuffed it down into my jar. And then I'm cutting this lavender. I get these lavender picks at Walmart. Anytime I see them, I grab them because I just love these. I don't know if you guys like them, but I love them. But you can add any kind of flower you want in here. So then I added my Spanish moss, of course, and then I'm just going to start stuffing these flowers down into my vase and getting them to look how I want them to look. Kind of play around with them a little bit. Then I want to trim this moss, this extra moss here. And I'll show you guys what this looks like in a little bit. So then I'm going to take this fabric and I'm just going to cut it down. Now this is thicker, so I can't rip it. It doesn't rip like normal fabric. It almost reminds you like the stuff they put on couches. I forget what that's called. If you can think of what that's called, go ahead and drop that in the comments for me. So I'm just going to cut it to get it the size that I want. But you could use any ribbon for this. This is such a fun craft because you can make this literally for any season. Or you can make one and just change up the flowers and the ribbon for each season. And I'm just going to wrap it around, and then I'm just going to tie like a really simple knot in it. And this bow was a little bit harder to make too, just because of that fabric being so thick. Like it didn't want to pull tight in the middle like they usually do. But I still really like how it turned out. I think it would have been cute too to put like a brown tag and like maybe stamp something on it, like spring or something like that. But my stamps were just a little bit too big for that. So then I'm just going to trim this down to the size that I wanted. I want it to hang down a little bit. And you just got to kind of play around with it to get it to look the way that you want. And then you have this super cute little decorative piece you can sit anywhere. So I hope you guys enjoyed this as much as I did. For more fun ideas just like this, please visit burlapkitchen.com. Thank you.